most about that scene was Peter Hunt saying, say that line that you've been saying most of the movie.
This never happened to the other fella.
That was perfect. As always, you sometimes worry so much about things that you just throw away.
It was a way of breaking the ice, of changing from one guy to the other.
It worked, and it got a tremendous applause from the audience.
Another pivotal scene is intended to provoke just the opposite reaction from viewers.
When I read the book, I cried at the end of the book. And I had the book with me.
I would make him sit and wait and get a bit nervous in order to make him a bit nervous for a scene.
And then I read that end scene in the book and got that emotion going again.
I wanted him to feel nervous and uptight, so that at the end, when she's shot, he really is emotionally involved.
The first take we took, I thought he was going to use it, but I brought a tear down my cheek here.
And he was emotionally involved, and he played it so extremely well.
I was really feeling it in the first one.
There was one where he cried less.
He said, okay, let's do one without the tear. James Bond doesn't cry.
There's no hurry, you see. We have all the time in the world.
I was a little uncertain about the tears in his eyes, but he did them marvelously.
But I had that scene down. I knew it was important.
Thinking ahead, Peter Hunt hedges his bets.
I shot the film in such a way that there was a perfect ending after the marriage, after the wedding. I go right up on a crane as they drive off. And then you could have started the next James Bond film with them driving in their honeymoon, stopping and taking the flowers off, and her getting shot. And then the titles. And then you could have gone on. That was dramatically how it should have been. It would have worked beautifully well.
Whereas ads for You Only Live Twice loudly proclaimed Sean Connery is James Bond, ads for On Her Majesty's Secret Service downplay the fact that another actor is playing the leading role.
There were a number of things that worried everyone about that. It was this, the first was, of course, the lack of Sean Connery as being James Bond. And the unknown, Mr. Lazenby from Australia.
They certainly were concerned that Sean wasn't in the movie anymore.
Despite concerns, no one is quite prepared when George Lazenby's advisor, Ronan O'Reilly, makes an announcement to the press.
Ronan announced to the world, it wasn't me, that I wasn't going to do another Bond picture.
Resignation from what?
Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Harry Saltzman was interviewed and said it was the first time we've heard of it. And then they turned it around that they let me go.
Request granted.
I didn't feel that James Bond was going to go on anymore anyway. I mean, with Easy Rider and all that stuff going on, I thought, well, this guy in a suit with short hair is not going to make it. I should have done two. You know, there's no doubt about it. And if I had done two, then who knows what would have happened. I would have probably said to myself, hey, I'm James Bond now, what can I do? And gone on for 7.
After his premiere on December the 18th, 1969, On Her Majesty's Secret Service set several box office records.
Didn't lose any money. It made money for United Artists and for Harry and Cubby and everybody else concerned, and we carried on work.
It was one of the few pictures that took a long time just to earn its money back.
But we were obviously never going to use George again.
The fact is, the film didn't do as well, and we had to blame somebody, so we fired the star. That doesn't make us right.
We have to find something else to do.
Cubby told me, he said, if you'd have stuck with it, you probably would have been the best James Bond.
The tempo was great. George, I thought, was fantastic.
I thought George Lazenby was quite good.
I thought he gave a very good performance as Bond.
If you look at that movie, it's a brilliant movie.
The picture is regarded by many as being one of the best Bond films.
He should have gone on and done the other Bonds. He would have made a very credible Bond and been very good indeed.
Despite all the controversies before, during, and after the filming, Peter Hunt proves that he has what it takes to make an epic James Bond adventure.
I was intent of making the best James Bond film of all.
He made me what I am on the film, Peter. If, it wasn't for him, I wouldn't look as good.
Who's James Bond? It's not Sean Connery, it's not Roger Moore, it's not any of the others. It's James Bond. And he was James Bond.